Alright, hey, how you guys doing? I appreciate you guys checking me out. I really do. It means a lot, and I hope that you spread the message about my channel, about me, and what I'm about here as we go along. Word of mouth will go a long ways, and also share this as much as possible. So I'm running for Douglas County Commissioner here in District 1 in Lawrence, Kansas, and I kind of want to just kind of explain how I ended up actually deciding to run for office, and a little bit about me. So when COVID hit, man, back in spring of 2020, man, I was totally against all that shit, man. The mask mandates, the lockdowns, man. I could see that stuff was just wrong, man. I saw it wrong on a lot of different levels, man. The masking, man, I saw as wrong, just from an American standpoint of being told what to do. We shouldn't have played that stuff, man. And it was really disheartening to see all my fellow Americans, especially around here, Lawrence, Kansas, man, is very liberal. KU is here, and this is just it's as liberal as can be, man. It seems like San Francisco. So it was really disheartening to see over time how everyone just hook, line, and sinker went along with this masking stuff, man. I was like, what you think you know people, man. You think you live in American society, and just see everyone just crater to it and go along with it, man. It was so obvious, man, that this stuff wasn't right, and there was, in my opinion, man, it was a communist takeover, man, and just watching everyone go along with it instead of standing up saying, no, man, we ain't doing this shit. What are you talking about? We're Americans. If we want to wear it, we'll wear it, man. Whatever. Same thing with when they shut down the businesses around here, started calling us non-essential. No, man, that's bullshit. You could see from a mile away that was going to have huge negative consequences on us as a society going forward. At the moment and going forward as well. It's so obvious, and why we didn't do it. Is like I said, it's really disheartening, man. Bunch of cowards, man. The other reason I saw as an issue is. With the masks in particular, man, they just weren't proven. They just weren't proven at all that they would be effective, or that what the long-term consequences would be of an entire society doing long-term masking. Like, nobody was like, hey, hold on a second, what kind of consequences could we suffer from this 5 years down the road, both individually, maybe have some kind of physical consequence with our breathing and stuff like that, mental consequences, but also as a society, what's it going to do to us? And so I felt all alone during that time period, man. I felt like I was the only one that was like, hey, hold on a second, asking the questions, like, what's going on around here? At the time, I was married and had a family, had kids, so, and saw them all go along with it too, man. It was really, really disheartening. It was really, really isolating, man. And so anyway, around here, they put in a couple of mask mandates for everyone. They shut down the schools, put in mask mandates for everyone, and then in July of last year, in 2021, the school district around here, which is USD 497, they put in a mask mandate for all students in the school district. And that's when I was like, all right, man, I had enough of this, man. I'm not just gonna sit around my house reading about this stuff, being pissed off and not being able to do anything. I'm gonna do something about this. And so, as luck would have it, our USD 497 administrative building here in town sits on a nice busy corner, man. So what I did is I decided to make a couple signs and go sit out in front of there and protest that stuff. Now, my PhD is in human development, and so I've taught all kinds of developmental classes over the years, across the lifespan, you name it, from infancy all the way up to the end of life, and everything about mask mandates screamed to me in my education that this was child abuse, that if we mask kids like this, it's going to have severe consequences. And I looked at it from an attachment point of view, from an attachment perspective, and meaning that I felt like these masks, as they cover up their faces, these kids, is going to have a psychological impact on them. It's going to affect their attachment. And I'm happy to go into detail about why I believe that. But just an overview, I was really concerned that it was going to contribute to a generation of psychopaths, because it was going to disrupt the connection, the attachment connection with caregivers, and not being able to read emotions on faces, and not being able to read emotions and feel emotions is a hallmark characteristic of psychopaths. So I was concerned that we're going to start seeing violence go up, and that, and we are, man, we're seeing it in society. And even more concerning is that as we saw violence go up, that parents wouldn't make the connection between the mass and the violence, and instead they would just take their kids to their doctor and get them on medication, and it would just compound it. So now you got a generation of kids that have been masked for years, and now they're on these medications that are already bad for their brains at that young of an age, and just a recipe for disaster. So I went out and I sat on the street corner by myself like a madman. In July of 2021, hot as shit out there. I sat there every day. I sat there for the entirety of that mask mandate till they lifted in March. And so that first month, I sat there by myself. I was really thinking, man, within a week, we're gonna have a whole group of people out here. And we're gonna get an end to this mask mandate. But it didn't happen, man. It never happened. People did join me. We got a nice following going. But not the people didn't come out in mass like I thought they would, and whatever, man. That's the way it goes. There's reasons for that, a lot of cowardice and that kind of stuff, and I get that, man. I get that people are afraid to stand up and speak out because you will lose a lot in this culture, and I did, man. I lost everything. So prior to that, in May of 2021, I lost my job at Washburn because I stood up against CRT. Within the faculty in my department were circulating an article on CRT, and I just like, what is this stuff, man? This is racist, man, and it's wrong. And so I got fired from that. You stand up for it, you're gonna lose stuff, man. And also when I went and sat out on the corner with my signs, man, the community around here, they hated me, man, and they did nothing but just talk mad shit about me online, all false stuff, and that had a huge impact on me and my family. And over time, I lost my family, man. Me and my wife divorced. We've been together since 1997. Lost my family, lost my house, lost my dog, lost my car. I'm like a walking country music song. But I don't mention that stuff so you guys feel sorry for me or that I'm a victim, because I'm not, man. I lost all that stuff, but I'm still fighting, man. I'm running for office. I'm running for office. I'm standing on the corner campaigning every day. I go to all these community meetings around here and speak my mind, hold the leaders accountable, man. I say, like, war is sacrifice, man. If you stand up, you will lose stuff, man. But I'm telling you, you'll also be rewarded. That's the key, man. Yeah, you stand up, you'll lose stuff, but you'll also be rewarded, man. I lost everything, but I gained a lot, man. I gained a lot. I have people in my life right now that I didn't know a year and a half ago. Couldn't imagine having these relationships these days, these meaningful relationships. And they matter a lot to me, man. Became religious in the process, man. Now, it wasn't like I lost everything and I was like, oh God, I got to turn to you because I'm in despair. No, man. I became religious as I was going out and standing on the corner protesting these mask mandates. God wanted me out there doing that stuff. I didn't know it at the time, man. I didn't know it. I was an atheist, man. I was an atheist professor, man. I thought I knew everything in the world, man. My ego was huge. I had all the answers, but in reality, I didn't know shit, man. And so God called me to do that. I didn't know it. I just picked up my plow and started plowing because he said plow. I didn't know how to plow. I didn't have any idea how to do it. I just did it. So I went and sat on the corner. I had two signs. One sign said mass on children is child abuse, and mass destroy child attachment. That's it, man. My signs weren't political. Nothing like that. Not at all. But it was labeled political. I was labeled as this right-wing crazy motherfucker, Nazi, fucking extremist, called every name in the book, man. But my stuff wasn't political at all. It was purely from a human development perspective that this stuff is bad for kids, man. I'm a professor by trade, so I was sitting out on the corner, man. Felt like a classroom. I was wanting to educate the masses and hopefully inspire them to come out and join us. And so anyways, like I said, man, I sat there for the first month, July to August, before people started coming around and joining me. And once they started joining me, man, every single day people will come out there and sat with me every single day up until the mask mandate got lifted in March. And I'm not joking when I say we were out there every day, 7 days a week, hot as shit. Windy. We had 80-mile-an-hour winds some days out there here in Kansas. It was blowing like crazy. Cold, rain, snow, blizzard. Man, I sat there in February in the middle of a snowstorm. There were no cars even driving by, man. That's just where I was. Just sitting there because that's how serious I felt it is, man. I felt how serious it was then. I feel it now, man. Those masks on kids was child abuse, and it was wrong, man. And we were doing a lot of damage to these kids, and information starting to trickle out. We got labeled as crazy and all that conspiracy theorists and all that stuff, but we were right, man, and we knew we were right in the moment, man. There was no doubt about it. I knew from day one I was right, and there was nothing anybody could tell me otherwise, man. I was right. This stuff was child abuse, needed to be stopped. And So from there, when that ended in March, I'd been kicking around the idea, I'm going to run for office, man. I'm going to hold these people accountable, because in August of last year, the county commissioners, they put in a mask mandate, starting with at 2 years old, 2 years old, all the way up to, I think it was 12 or 13, were required to wear masks. 2 years old. So we were on the right side of history. We were at the tip of the spear around here, and be proud as shit about that for the rest of my life, man. And so anyway, so when that ended in March, our mask mandate protest ended in March, when the mandate got lifted in schools. I was like, all right, man, I'm going to run for office. So I threw my hat in the ring in April, and that's what I've been doing, man. I stand out on the corner around here on 6th and Castle with my sign, various signs, just spreading the message, letting people know to go out and vote for me. I'm running as a Republican, and I get around here that being a Republican, not necessarily just around here, but just the national feel for Republicans is that, we're extremists, and we're just out of touch, and we're white, and we're evil, we're mean, we're racist, we're Nazis, all that stuff. But that stuff ain't true. But so I'm running as a Republican, but I'm asking for everyone's vote that's just tired of the bullshit, man. If you're tired of your taxes going up, the commissioners, the city commission, the county commission, the school district, they've all voted unanimously over the last couple of weeks to raise your property taxes. So your property taxes are going up. That you don't have to be a Republican to vote against that, man. It affects Democrats. It affects Republicans all the same. Unaffiliated. Just, if you're tired of it, man, if you're tired of the bullshit, man, just come out and vote for me. And in November. And so this past August 2nd, there was a primary. I ran unopposed as a Republican, and I got 1,380 votes, man, which is it was just great, man. I'm so excited about that. And here in Lawrence, it's a liberal place, man. It's liberal off the charts. And in District 1 in particular is really liberal, because the way Douglas County is divided up, there's 3 districts, 3 commissioners right now. They're all Democrats, and so there's no opposition up there to any of this madness. There's no opposition to raising your taxes. There's no opposition about masking you and your kids. There's no opposition on anything. They vote unanimously all the time. It's like having one person up there. It's like, why do we have that? So anyways, so we have three districts, and District 1, which is where I'm at, is just in Lawrence, man. There's no outside rural voters in this, like 2 and 3 has. So District 1 is only Lawrence. So it's liberal, man. And so for me to get 1,380 votes, man, I was happy as shit about it. I still am, man. It tells me there's something there, man. It tells me there people are unhappy. It tells me people are wanting to change. It tells me we can win, man. It tells me I can win. And if we can win District 1, if I can get in there, yeah, it'll be one of the 3 commissioners. I'll be a minority. But if we can win one, man, we can definitely win either District 2 or District 3 next year as well. And we get one more person in there on our side, man, we got in a majority. And start to turn things around here. And so anyways, so that's a bit of my story, man. And I just want you, the main takeaway from this, I hope you take on board is that, to find the courage, man. Don't be afraid. Find the courage to stand up. I hope I'm an example for that. And if you stand up, man, you're gonna lose stuff. I'm not gonna bullshit you, man. You will lose stuff. You lose your reputation. You could lose your family. You could lose your job. Yeah, you could. But if you don't stand up, you could lose all those things anyways. The other side fucking gets their way and has us just kicked out of society, and we'll lose it all. But you have to have faith, man. You have to have faith that ultimately our side's going to win, so that when you do stand up and you lose everything, you know that we win. And when we win, we get on the other side of this bullshit, you'll get all that stuff back, man. You'll have a new job. You'll have a new house. All that stuff. And I get, man, you don't want to lose what you have. I get all that, man. I lost my family. I lost my wife and kids and all that stuff. My dogs, man. And you don't want to lose that, but that's how they keep us silent, man. That's how they keep us silent. We have to be able to take risks. We have to be able to be courageous. We have to be able to take a stand. And not online, not just online. We have to be out in the streets. Stand on a street corner and say, no, man, I ain't putting up with this. Go to your city commission meetings. Go to your county commission meetings. Go to your school board meetings. And say, I ain't having this stuff no more. This is who I am. This is what I believe. And I ain't having this stuff no more. And we got our eye on you guys up there making decisions over our lives. And we ain't happy about this. The more of us that do that, man, the more likely it is we're going to win. But if we're all just sitting on the sidelines, too scared to voice our concerns, we ain't going to win, man. We ain't going to win. That's just the way it is. There's oftentimes this, I don't know, false sense of security or pride or whatever, that we're the silent majority. Man, I tell you what, man, I wouldn't have respect for a silent minority, let alone a silent majority. If we're the majority, why the hell would we be silent, man? It makes no sense. If we're the majority, stand up. It would be over. We'd put it down. We'd put it down in a matter of months, man. But instead, we're scared, man. And also, you know, we feel like this stuff can be won online. So we get in the message comment sections. We get on Facebook. We post a meme or an article, and we're like, all right, we did our part, man. No, it ain't like that. That takes no courage, man. Anybody can do that shit. You get out there and you get out in public and people know your face and know who you are. That takes courage, man. But that's where the action's gonna be. And so that, you know, that's why I'm running, man. I want to, you know, I ain't afraid to be out there in public anymore, man. There was a time where I was, man. I was just like you guys, man. I was a cowering little bitch, man. Scared to lose everything. Scared to lose my job. Got in line. Didn't want to swim in the opposite direction because I was gonna lose everything. And I just said, fuck it, man. I'm swimming in the other direction. Boom, man. I got fucking kicked out of society. One other thing, going back to what I was talking about, how my position on these masks on children was all about attachment, man. The locals around here, man, they came at me hard on that, man. They came at me real hard. I thought they knew more than me. And I ain't saying I know everything on attachment, but man, I got a PhD in human development. When I teach developmental classes and parenting classes, it's attachment. So I know a thing or two about it. I don't know everything. I know a thing or two. And people will come at me and say, "You're wrong, man. It ain't like that." And they give me these simple explanations that, or you know, and I'd be like, "That ain't the way it is, man. Let's sit down and talk about this, man. I can tell you what's up with this attachment stuff." And so, anyways, yeah, you'll get pushback, man. Not everybody's gonna like you. You have an unpopular opinion, and people aren't gonna like you. They say, you know, if you stand up and have an opinion, automatically 20%, you can count on 20% of people already going to hate you. So whatever, man, they're already going to hate you. They're already going to call us names. They're already calling us names. So, you know, throw caution to the wind and say, fuck it, man. That's what you think I am to call me that. I don't really give a shit. This battle is a lot more important than our reputations, man. It really is. That's the reality of it. So, anyways, that's a little bit about me and why I'm doing what I'm doing in terms of running for office. I'm going to use this platform here to spread my message. I stand on the corner with my sign on 6th and Castle and see thousands of people, but I want to use this platform here to reach even more people. I'm dead serious about winning this election. I'm dead serious about if I get elected to county commission that I'm going to oppose everything that those other commissioners, all of those Democrat commissioners are about. I'm not even joking, man. I will oppose it all. And not only that, I'll start, you know, I'm going to get on there, I'm going to oppose my own things, man, and get them on board voting along with us so we can get stuff turned around here. So, again, I appreciate you checking out my channel. I appreciate you sitting here and listening to my story. I got a shit ton of crazy stories from these the protests I've done over this last year, and I can sit down here and I think I will with this platform here. I can sit here and just tell all these stories as well. When you get a chance, man, look me up. My name is Dr. Justin Spies. Google me, Google my name. Look me up on YouTube and see a whole bunch of stuff out there of what I've been doing. And I appreciate you checking me out. I appreciate you spreading the word.